We'll do that here in just a moment. As soon as we end up starting this up and going live here. All righty, it looks like we are live and in person now. So if you just go to my homepage, you should see the Game Caddie Part 2 on the screen. If you click that, it'll take you right to the live stream.
I'm sorry, I tap on what?
If you go to my homepage.
Yes, I can see it on my iPad.
Okay, so you should see the Game Caddie Part 2 listed. If you don't see that, then hit F5 to refresh your screens because we are officially live now. It should pop up eventually where it'll show you. Actually,
okay, got it. Sorry, I hit the old video.
That's okay.
Yep.
And the cool thing is now you can watch the chat coming in and out, and I try to put everything in the chat as it comes in, but
well, for whatever reason, it doesn't want to enlarge. There we go. Okay, that's better.
So you should see me now, and
I do.
All right. I will give everyone a couple minutes to get the notification from YouTube that we are officially live. So we'll give everyone a few minutes, and we'll just chat for a second. How are you doing, by the way? It's been a couple weeks, and we had a really good time last time. I suggested that maybe we get back together and go over some advanced options, which you agreed with, and I think it's a great time that we can do and hang out together and show some people this wonderful program. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Coming off a big high from this weekend with the real life PGA championship, and knowing that Phil still got it.
That's right. That's right.
And it, by the way, took place just down the road from me. So I'm not too far from Keo Island, where I live.
Really?
And I didn't have tickets to get out there and walk around and see everybody up close, but some of my family members did, and they had a great time.
Awesome. Good to hear. Yeah. So it was probably a busy time for you guys.
It was.
I know I used to live about 10 miles from Muirfield in Ohio. And every time the Muirfield tournament started, oh my God, the traffic got crazy. Oh, but good times, good times. So we've been, So we went to the Muirfield tournament a few times and got to see the golfers, and that was a lot of fun. It's interesting being there actually in live. It's totally different than when you're watching on TV, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and the fans are there this year too, right? So you get caught up in all that excitement. Maybe too much fan excitement there on the 18th.
Wow, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the cops surrounding him, but then there's this like people jumping on his back and stuff. That was insane.
Yeah. Well, and you're outnumbered a couple 100 to 1.
Right.
It's not like you can do it.
Right. And 99.999% of people are going to be, just want to pat them on the back and yell at them and say hi or whatever. But there's always the chance you get that one idiot that comes up and does something stupid, punches him in the side of the head or something.
Yeah.
Hey, D. Scott Howard is here. How you doing, D. Scott Howard? So we decided we got some really good feedback on myself, and I know, Scott, you had some really good feedback from a lot of people.
I did.
So we want to thank everyone out there for watching the videos, for emailing you and myself and telling us that you guys appreciate what we're doing here. And so we talked about getting back together and talk about some more advanced options. So there's a lot more to this game than the kind of the stuff we already went over.
Yeah, we covered a lot last time. I made a list of things. I went back and looked at the video and made a list of about 50 things that we talked about, which was still just basically scratching the surface. And I mean, it was mostly basic stuff. And we did get into a couple of hairy situations with a lion in the trap and a kind of an unusual outcome there. We covered a lot, but there's still a lot more that we need to talk about.
Right, absolutely. And I know you've had some feedback from me and some other people about some things that we'd like to see in the actual program. So it's just expanding and getting better and better.
Yeah, and that was really one of the great benefits for me out of all this is that I haven't had a lot of feedback, even though this has been out in the public domain since about November of last year. I've had people express an interest in it, but it hasn't been really two-way. I haven't had a lot of feedback. But after last show that you and I did together, I got lots of feedback and lots of suggestions and requests for other tools and other ideas. I love it. Keep it coming.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys are watching this afterwards, either on the Game Caddie channel or on my channel here, be sure to give us some feedback, leave some comments, and let us know if there's anything in the Game Caddie you're not sure about, if you have any questions, because I think it looks like we're going to probably get together for a few more episodes and cover quite a few of your suggestions out there. So hopefully we can, maybe 3 or 4 episodes, we can cover most everything, and then we can get back together once you've updated the Game Caddie with all these new super cool features and talk about everything that's been added to it. So hoping to have you back and make you a regular guest here on my channel.
That'd be great. Thanks.
I appreciate it. All right, so our game plan today, just for you guys that are watching, is we're going to run through some holes, and we're going to talk about some of the advanced features. We're not going to cover every single advanced feature here, but if you see something that we don't cover, like I said, leave a comment down below or email myself or Scott, and one of us will get back with you. I will probably, if you email me, I'm just going to send it right over to him because I'm not going to answer your question. And if you're looking for Game Caddie, Scott, how do they get a hold of you? How do someone get a hold of you?
Yeah, so it's my email address, which is smohler9@gmail.com. And can you put that up there for folks to see like you did last time?
Go ahead and share your screen with me, and
Okay.
we'll go ahead and post that up.
All right.
And there
I got to get my Game Caddie up here.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, come on, open up. Let me reduce this. There we go.
Oh, I was waiting on a message. There you go. All right. So your email is actually on the Game Caddie.
Right here.
Right there. All right. So they can get that from you by just emailing you and get their own version of Game Caddie.
Yeah. Game Caddie 2.0. It's absolutely free. Comes with, it's an Excel workbook. You get that, and you get a pretty extensive user guide to go along with it to help you. And then, of course, on the Game Caddie channel, there's 12 videos, or 13 videos if you count last week's live stream, that can help guide you along in terms of what you need to do. And then I'm always available to help people too.
That's excellent. Excellent. All right. So I kind of contacted you after the last episode, and I said, here's what I want to do. And I'm probably one of the weirdos out there, but I wanted to replay the 1992 All Four Majors. And I realized after our first episode, one of the most important things was I didn't know how to, what do you do with more than one golfer? So I think a lot of people out there will probably want to know about this feature. So that's one of the things we're going to cover. So Scott, why don't we kind of go over that? And hey, Tabletop Sports Delaware, how are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good evening to you.
All right. Yeah. So let's go ahead and basically start off with a clean Game Caddie like we did last time. We're going to take this right from the beginning because, not everybody who's watching tonight may have watched before, but we'll go through this fairly quickly since this is a little bit redundant. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on yes twice here to maximize my screen real estate. And then we need to go ahead and we need to establish the conditions for the day, and we need to add 2 players. So we can do them in either order. Let's go ahead and put in the players first if you are ready to do that. And it doesn't matter which of these 4 caddies we use, maybe just to keep it a little easier to follow, we'll do Caddie 1 and 2, but you could do 3 and 4, 2 and 4, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. So we'll click on Caddie 1 tab down here, and we'll go ahead and put in the 2 players that we're going to use tonight. So who do you want to put in first?
Let's go ahead and put in Rory McIlroy.
All right, and I'm just going to ask you to bark out the information from his card. His average W
is a 3.
Okay, average I
2.
All right, momentum
3.
bounce back
0.
and
0.
shot making left.
B and B.
All right, and clutch won't matter, but we'll put it in
0 and 1 scramble.
All right, great. So he's all set up, ready to go. Nothing else we have to do in order to be able to play with Rory. Let's go over to Caddie 2.
All right, we're going to play with Colin Morikawa.
Oh, and I may have trouble spelling Colin's name just the way that Appa did on his card one year. Let's see if I can get this right.
Collin.
2 L's. Okay.
Yep, 2 L's. Morikawa. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
He's a 6 and 5.
6 and 5. And what else? Momentum?
And 2. Momentum 0. Bounce back. Sand is a 1. His shot making is B and a B. And 0 clutch, 0 scramble.
All right.
So basically, guys, we're just taking the info right off the card and inputting it right into the game Caddie.
Yep. And then we're going to come over to the conditions tab, and we're going to establish a PIN number. I can do it, or you can do it. Do you want to roll? Or you want me to?
No, I want you to roll everything tonight, so this way people can see it on your screen what's going on.
Okay, so almost every one of these screens, when I talk about different screens, I'm referring to the different worksheets down here at the bottom. Almost every one of them has a dice roller that's unique to that screen. So we're on the conditions tab right now. I'm going to roll, and we're going to look at the 1 die roll in order to determine our PIN number for tonight. So it's a 2. We'll put that in there, and we want to go ahead and establish the day wind. And we're going to be playing Seaside tonight, isn't that right?
Yeah, we're going to play Seaside. Yes, sir.
And Seaside is a little bit different than some of the other courses. As a coastal course, it has prevailing winds on it. So we not only need to roll for how strong the winds are, but we need to find out in which way they are prevailing. So I'll roll for to find out how strong the winds are first. And you may be able to show this to folks, but it's on the hole number 1. It says it's a J is the rating for Seaside for folks who don't have that course.
Yep, it's a J. Yep.
All right, and so we'll roll. We get a 21, which is a little bit lucky, I think. We come over here to J, a 21. No, I'm sorry, it's not. We missed the cutoff, so we've got blustery conditions for the day.
Yeah. Yep. 21 to 66. Just made it, didn't we?
Yeah. So that'll make things interesting tonight. It will certainly move us into the more advanced mode in terms of things that we're likely to cover. I'm going to roll again to determine which direction these winds are coming from. And we've got a 5 here as our 1 die roll. And what I'm doing is I'm taking this directly off the hole 1 course notes. And it explains that this will then apply for the entire round. And so if you roll a 1 through 5, it's a type A. And if it's a 6, it's a type B.
Yep. Right there. 1 to 5 is type A. 6 is a type B, and a type A is going to be a crosswind to the right, I believe.
Yep.
And type B would be a crosswind to the left. Yep. All right.
Oh, well, at least for the first hole. On other holes, it can sometimes be a headwind or a tailwind. Okay. You're right for the first hole. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. So then we're going to look at, what is the course conditions? How firm is the course? We'll roll again for that. And this time we're going to add the 2 dice and we get a 7. And we come over here to course roll conditions, normal 7. It means that we've got no effect in terms of additional fairway roll or green roll. So I'll just type normal in there.
Okay.
And we're ready to go. All we need to do at this point is to load a hole.
Okay.
So I'm going to come down here to the Seaside tab, click on it. Again, this is just a habit I encourage people to get into. We wouldn't have to do this because, again, this is a totally clean caddy. There's no old information that's in it, but I'm going to click on this anyway to reset the hole as if to clear out any old information that might be there. And we're going to click on the transfer hole button. For people that might not know what this screen is because you didn't see last week's video, this is essentially the Seaside course with all of the pin locations programmed into it. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to transfer in. If you want to start off with hole number 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One other thing I'm going to point out on this screen, this is one of 2 courses that come sort of pre-programmed into the Game Caddie when you get it. As I mentioned last time, there's room here for you to add 5 additional courses of your own. And what I did and what I use these 2 boxes here for on this screen is to add in any special features of the course that would apply throughout the entire time that you're playing that course. So you'll notice that I've just made a note here about prevailing winds and how they work. I've also made a note here about deep bunkers. We're not going to probably run into deep bunkers if we just play the first couple of holes of Seaside, but they do come up on some of the later holes. You'll notice up here, we've got some notes. Again, these are notes that I've put in for myself in playing the Game Caddie. And when you get the Game Caddie, these notes will be in there for you too. But these are just pulled directly off of the actual APA course boards for whatever course you're playing. So this, in this case, for Seaside. Now I've abbreviated these things so that they fit better on the screen, and it's the way I choose to word it. But you can word it whatever way you want to. So cool. Let's transfer hole number 1. Okay, and that will immediately bring us back to the wind or conditions table again. And now we need to find out what the conditions are for hole number 1.
Okay.
Am I going too fast?
I think you're doing great. So,
okay.
So
right.
Just a couple questions
Sure.
or maybe some clarifications before we jump into actual holes. So the Game Caddie comes with several courses already programmed in.
2 courses.
2 courses, okay. And those are Magnolia and Seaside, and I know that because we've talked.
Yep.
But you could, somebody at home could get this program and add their own courses in if they had different courses.
Yeah, absolutely. You can put into up to 7 courses on each Game Caddie. What I would tell people is if you fill one with 7, you're not going to be able to add an 8th course in. And there's a couple of reasons for doing that. But the simple thing to do is just get another, Game Caddie. You've got an email to you. You can make as many copies of it as you want. And you can, at that point, if you want to, delete a course like Magnolia and Seaside, so you can add additional ones in. Just keep building new Game Caddies for you. Now you will need to name them differently. You can't have them all have the same name, at least not in the same directory, right? Otherwise, you're gonna overwrite some of the Game Caddies that you've got. But don't try to add an 8th course here. The Game Caddie won't let you do it.
Okay, and to just 2 more quick questions about this, and then we can move on. For people that are thinking, oh yeah, I would love to get this program and add my own courses in, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being so hard and complex they could never do it, and 1 being so easy a child could do it, how hard is actually entering in the data for the different courses for people out there that are interested?
So I would say it's extremely simple, but there's a caveat. Unless you are incredibly precise, and I'm not, it's very likely that you'll make a typo or two when you do it, and you'll discover that during your actual gameplay. And you can actually fix that on the fly. That's not a problem to fix mistakes like that. But it is really simple to do.
Okay.
The user guide explains how to do that. And
I was going to say, you have a tutorial on the actual step-by-step process.
That's right. Episode 4, called Courses, on the Game Caddie channel, will explain how to enter courses and how to edit them.
All right. And I am going to just pop over to your channel just to show everyone real quickly where to get it. And so let me share my screen with everyone out there. And there we go. All right, so here's our YouTube channel with all your awesome videos and tutorials. And of course, our last episode there. So be sure to check that out. But here's mostly, if you don't see anything covered that we're going to cover tonight and last week, you can check out the other tutorials on his channel. And I believe it was episode number 4. Yeah, working with courses there. So people, if you're interested in getting the Game Caddie again, you can email Scott here, and it's smohler9@gmail.com.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's
I almost have it memorized.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's we can just take that off. There we go. And add you back in. All right.
Yeah.
So setting up the golfers, setting up the courses, putting in the conditions for the course, and then we're ready to rock and roll. You want to clear out your any previous hole, and then you want to load a new hole, and then you're basically ready to play. So literally within 10 minutes, you're up and ready to play. That is so good. If
you're not talking about it, you can probably do it in 5.
Right, exactly. If you're not talking about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for coming out. If you have any questions for Scott, be sure to type them in, and we'll get to you as soon as we can there. And we do appreciate all our viewers tonight and all the viewers that will check this out later. All right, so we've got hole number 1 at Seaside ready to go. So we've got some blistery conditions. So how do we handle, or how does the Game Caddie handle blistery conditions?
Okay, so while you were talking, one other thing I did that people might not have seen is I just added the course name down here. I called it, for tournament, I called it demo number 2, and I called it round number 1. This information down here is totally optional. You don't have to put it in, and the Game Caddie will work just fine, but that's what that's for. Okay, so we've got blustery conditions. Again, as I mentioned last time, this screen is basically 3 different charts. 3 different wind charts. You've got the blustery conditions over here, which is what we'll use tonight, the moderate conditions here, and the calm conditions over here, and that's what we used last time. So we're just going to go ahead and do our first roll to determine what we're dealing with, and we got lucky here on the first roll. So for this particular hole, we have what it says, 24 falls between 11 and 26 under first roll, and it says no second roll, which essentially means there is no wind. Okay. Now, and we can change that if we want, to do it for demonstration purposes. We can add a wind in there. Tell me what you want to do.
Let's go with no wind, and then see what we roll on the second hole. And if we roll no wind again, let's go ahead and add wind on the second hole.
Okay. Now, we did talk about this last time, and I want to mention it because there's one other thing that we need to do here. Again, this is a little bit more of an advanced step. These blue boxes here are all clickable, meaning that if I, clicked on one of them, some numbers are going to appear somewhere over on this anemometer. Now, before I even clicked here, the number -5 was up here for carry. That was left over from something previous that I did. And so we need to reset the wind, okay? Since we have no wind on this hole, we need to take out that -5. Now, there's a couple ways to do that. One is I could just click on it and hit delete, and it would clear it right out. But if, let's say I had a bunch of different things in here and I wanted to do it all at once, just hit the reset wind button and it clears all that out right there. Okay. One other thing I want to mention here, because it sometimes throws people. Up here on this top line, it says abbreviation and it says none. Well, when you have no wind, this is going to say none, but it's also going to say none when you do have wind that is just that requires just a first roll. So that means that if I had rolled up here a number, let's say between 31 and 46, it would have entered one of these numbers over here into the first line of this. This is the first roll row that's here. This would still say none, because this none doesn't mean no wind. What it means is that there's no abbreviation that needs to go into that box. If I had rolled a 51 to a 66, then I would have clicked on one of these buttons. So I'll just go ahead and do this to demonstrate it. And you'll notice that when I click on headwind here, 53, 54, it changes this abbreviation to HW. And these abbreviations are all explained over here. And we'll come, if we end up with a situation where we've got a second roll required, we'll pick it up from there. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and click the reset wind button to put this back to essentially a no wind state that we're in.
Absolutely.
Got it?
That's awesome. I love it. It's very, very intuitive. And I think, most people, it looks daunting at first, but once you see what's going on and once you understand what all the numbers and the different cells do, you completely understand your screen. Very easy. It's laid out just beautifully, I think. Yeah.
And if this looks a little intimidating and like there's lots of information there, just think of this as three different, APA boards. This is the board for calm wind. This is the board for moderate wind. This is the wind for, the board for blustery wind. And when you're clicking on these little cells here, these boxes, as I call them, all you're doing is telling the Game Caddie, what the APA board is telling you. So it's not new information. It's information you're already familiar with. It just gets it into the Game Caddie in a very quick and easy way for you. All right.
And this is awesome because, we went through the basics, kind of basic tutorial last week. We didn't want to get into too advanced stuff because we didn't want to throw people off, and we kind of want to introduce this slowly but surely. And this is a great introduction for the actual how the game handles wind and stuff. So this is beautiful. I love it. I'm glad we decided to use this golf course.
Okay.
Unfortunately for us, or unfortunately for you, hole number 1 is, oh boy, it's a dog leg.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
It's going to be, we're going to have to talk about some dog leg action, aren't we?
Yep. So for people who don't have Seaside, that's what it looks like.
Oh, do you want me to show it again?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So it is actually it's a normal dog leg at 240 yards from the tee. There, we will deduct 5 yards from the flight of the second shots and all the other stuff we talked about. But all right, so like a lot of the golf courses, a lot of the holes that people are going to play, two things that always are going to have to worry about is wind conditions and conditions of the course, and also dog legs. So this is like two of the biggies. We're covering two of the biggies today.
That's right. And we wanted to use at least two players to show that the Game Caddie can handle more than one golfer at a time. And so it can handle up to 4. We're just going to do 2 to keep it relatively simple. And the Game Caddie uses the I guess the rules of golf to determine who's away, except perhaps in terms of teeing off and on the first hole. You'll notice I'm still on the conditions tab here, where we entered all the wind and talked about that. You'll notice up here on the dashboard there's something that's called Who's Away, and it has Rory McIlroy's name in there. I didn't type that. The Game Caddie pulled that up. It's telling us that Rory McIlroy is going to hit the first shot. He's 375 yards away from the pin location, and he's sitting on the tee. Now, I'm going to come over here to Caddie 1 and click on this tab, and you'll notice that this is Rory's Caddie tab, if you want to think of it. All right, so any shot that Rory takes is going to be taken off of this screen here, and the results that he gets on those shots are going to be reflected on this screen here. Underneath his name up here in the player 1 box, you'll see something called the Who's Away tool. This tool, if you're playing with more than one golfer, is going to be your best friend, okay? Because it is going to do all the math for you. It's going to tell you who's farthest away and whose turn it is to shoot next. Now, I said with the exception of the first hole, because the way, there's no previous golf data to work with on the first hole. So the way it works on the first hole is it just starts with player 1 and then goes to player 2. And then if you have a player 3 and player 4, it will have them tee off in that order. But after the first hole or after the first tee shot, then it actually goes into the who's away mode and starts doing these calculations. So you want to line up your shot and take it?
Before we do that, let's go ahead and assign clubs for our golfers.
Thank you for reminding me. I always forget that. So what do you want for Rory?
So for Rory, we're going to give him he hits it a long way anyways. We're going to give him a 4-wood, a 5-wood, and a 3-iron. We're going to go for the 3 right in the middle there.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Last time, these X's are only visual indicators. They don't actually do anything internally within the Game Caddie.
Right. It's just a friendly reminder of which clubs you chose. Yeah.
That's right. And do we want to do Caddie 2 at the same time? You want to just kind of get that?
So Colin, he's not such a big hitter. Let's go ahead and give him a 3-wood, a 4-wood, and a hybrid. We're going to try some different clubs with different golfers.
So this will be really interesting because when you use a hybrid, wind effects are doubled, okay? And the Game Caddie will handle all that for you. You don't need to do anything, but just be aware that your ball could blow 60 yards, depending on how you roll.
Okay.
All right.
Putting the pressure on.
This will be fun.
Okay. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a great time. All right. So we're looking for Rory. Now, he hits a woods at 3. So we want to look at the 3 column there. And we probably don't want to go too far more than the dog leg, which is at 240. So what does he hit about 240?
So let me while you're thinking about that, let me call attention to 2 things that before we get too far away. So you were looking at the course probably to determine where that dog leg was. Were you not? You were looking at
I was looking right at right here.
Another way to do it is to come over here. So whenever there is a dog leg on a hole, the Game Caddie will automatically turn it on for the tee shot. So it is telling you that there's a dog leg that applies on this first shot. It's 240 yards away. It's a dog leg to the right, and it's a normal dog leg. Okay? And it will, when this is set to Y, it will perform all the necessary calculations to figure out where your ball has landed and where it will roll to once it's given that information. Right? Okay. The other thing I want to call your attention to is I saw you reading the course notes off of the APA course board. This is the area of the screen where those hole notes show up. So if you remember back here on Seaside, and I pointed your attention to these things here, well, that's what this is up here. So it's kind of a shorthand way to be able to figure out, what you need to pay attention to.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and Let's try a 5-wood for Rory there.
All right. Are you going to aim at all or not?
I am going to aim. Let's click on the 5-wood first so I can see if his normal goes left or right.
Okay, I'll be happy to do that. His average W is a 3, right? So that would tell us the distance here. So did you say 5-wood?
Yeah, 5-wood. Yeah.
Okay, that takes us over to the 5-wood board, and a 3 goes to the left.
Okay, so 10 to the left, which actually is the wrong way because of the dog leg. So we're actually going to aim. We're going to aim 10 yards to the right. Actually, we're going to aim we're actually going to only aim 10 to the right because of the trees in the beginning there that are causing issue with how much he can actually aim to the right. So we'll aim 10 yards to the right.
Okay. And so I'm using the aim tool here. All I'm going to do is type in a 10 here under the column titled right. All right.
Yep.
You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. Nerves of steel here. 5-wood. You said you want me to roll?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm rolling. And we get a 42.
All right, so 42 on Rory's card is a 3. Look at that. You just hit it right on the head there, buddy.
Okay, so we're using the T and fairway W column. And do you want to take your average W?
Yes.
Which will have the effect of bringing that ball 5 yards closer into the center line. So instead of 10 left, it'll be a 5 left. You said yes?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll click on the average WI. That toggles that N to a Y, no to yes. And then we're going to go ahead and click on this to transfer the shot. All right, so you've hit the ball 235 yards in the air, right 5. So where does that put you on the course board?
235, right 5 puts me right in the old fairway, just like I planned it.
Okay, and so we're going to come down here to see what your roll is going to be. And under the fairway column, you got a roll of 10. So we'll come over here to adjusted roll and put 10 in. Now you did hit, let's see, through the dog leg, but not far enough for it to actually make a difference. So your final destination or ball location is 245, right 5, and that keeps you in the fairway, I would assume. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Right in the fairway. Look at that.
We've got live prompts turned on like we did last time, and I'm just going to keep it on. But this does toggle yes to no. If you I'll just do it once with a no, okay, and just show you what happens. All right. So I'll click the update tool. What it's going to do is it's going to take this information and put it down here into our notes, and it's going to record a stroke once we enter lie information. So I'll click on the update arrow. It entered that information, but we don't have a stroke yet because there's no lie indicated. If the lie prompts were on, it would ask us to tell us, tell the Game Caddie what the lie is, but we can do it manually as we will for this particular instance. And once we put that FW in there for fairway, it records 1 stroke. You'll notice that what also happens is that the Who's Away tool now puts this little star, takes it off Rory, and it puts it down here on Colin, who's player number 2. These live prompts operate independently. So if sometimes you're playing with another human being. One person may want to use them, another person doesn't want to use them. So for all 4 caddies, you can make your own choice about what you want to do. I like to keep it on because I'm a forgetful guy, just like I forgot to pick the clubs up here. All right, so we'll put it back on, and it'll prompt us in the future. All right. All right. Now, there's a couple of ways that we can go to Colin to have him take his shot. One way is we could come down here and we could just click on Caddie 2. All right. Well, again, when you're playing and you're in the flow of things, it can be a little tiresome after a while to have to keep hunting down here for which Caddie tab you need. Another thing you can do is you can click on the Who's Away box up here, and it will take you to whoever's up next, right? So it will see this star, and it will go to that Caddie tab. The way I prefer to do it, and this is all just a matter of personal choice, is I like to use the shortcut key. And that is, and you won't be able to see me do this because you can't see my keyboard, but I'm going to hold down the control key and press X. And as soon as I press that, it takes me over to whoever is next. Right?
Okay.
And it's making that determination based on the information it sees here in these boxes. So Colin is still on the tee. He's 375 yards away. Rory's out in the middle of the fairway at 130. So that's why the star is here. If for whatever reason you wanted to override this and say, well, actually I want to have Rory play the whole hole and then I'll come back and then I'll have Colin play it, you can do it. All you got to do is click on player one and it puts the star right back up here and he'll take the next shot. Now I'd have to hit Control X again to go back to his screen. Whoops, that didn't do what I expected it. Oh, hitting Control X reads this number here. I'm sorry. So it automatically reads this number here. So when you sort of go against what the Who's Away tool is designed to do, then you have to come down here and actually click on the tab in order to get to the right player.
Yeah, I see.
All right, but we'll go ahead and we'll just keep things in order here. And I'll click the Control X and it'll take us back to Colin.
All right. So Colin, what's Colin got? He's got a wood of 6. So we're going to try, we're going to give him a, if you click on that 4 wood, let's see if he goes left or right here.
He goes right. So when you're in the fairway, I think I'm right when I say this, or correct when I say this, is even numbers in the fairway with woods always go to the right, odd numbers always go to the left.
See,
and then when you get in the rough, it flips around the other way.
Yeah, you can see them alternating. Yeah, okay. So even goes right, odd goes to the left. So that's good to know. So we're going to aim 10 yards to the left.
All right, and I'll hit Control X again just to come back to him. That's the quickest way to do it. 10 yards left, you said.
Yep.
Last week my hearing wasn't so good, and I was aiming different than you were telling me. Hopefully I'll do better tonight.
So you just simply type in 10 on the left, and then we'll go back to the, what did I say, 4 wood, and let's roll. You do it so good at rolling, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I can click with the best of them. Okay, 65.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, actually,
Might not be too bad.
It's not bad. It's going to be left because he had a 7.
All right, so we'll click on 7. We don't have anything else to do in this situation, so we'll just transfer the shot. And it's put your ball at 225, left 20.
5, 10, 15, 20. He is in the fairway.
All right. And how much is he going to roll? Look, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Absolutely. I'm going to roll 15 yards.
That's right. Landed in the fairway.
So here's so it's going to roll 15, or it's going to roll 10 and then 5 more into the rough. Yep. Okay. So he's going to end up right at the, you guys can't see that. Let me turn it so you guys can see me. There is, so we were at 225, right 20. I'm sorry, left 20, and then we rolled 15. So 5, 10, 15. So we're going to end up in the RR, rough. I call it the rough.
Okay. Now, and different people play different ways with this. And, you play whatever way you want. The game caddy does not care. It won't be thrown off. When it comes to counting roll, I tend to be a little bit lazy. And so wherever the ball lands, and I count that as fairway roll. if it hits the fairway, and I don't care if it rolls into rough. I don't start making reductions. Once it gets into the rough, that's just way too tedious for me. I know other people do make that adjustment, and so they'll kind of do half fairway, half rough roll, and however you decide to compute that is entirely up to you. But whatever that number turns out to be, you put it in this adjusted roll box, and the Game Caddy will take it from there.
Beautiful.
All right. Now we got to update this, right? Because we don't have anything down here. The shot hasn't been completed yet. We'll hit the update arrow. Now, because we've got lie prompts on, it's going to ask us to enter a lie abbreviation, and you said it's in the rough, so we're going to put in RR because that's one of our special abbreviations from the box down here. So anytime you're not in the fairway, you're going to use an abbreviation that is in this gray box, so the Game Caddy knows where you are and knows some other things that will affect your next shot.
And because you had the prompts on this time, it automatically adjusted our stroke for us.
That's right, because once we've entered the lie into the dialog box, it entered it automatically down here, and that's what we needed in order to get that stroke to go from 0 to 1. Now let's take a look at the Who's Away tool here. You could have your markers on the course there, and you could be trying to figure out, all right, who's supposed to hit next, and you'd be doing the math. And in some situations it may be obvious, in others it might be a lot more difficult to figure out. But what we've got here is the Game Caddy with the Who's Away tool is going to tell us. So it tells us that Colin is still up. He's still far. He's 140 yards from the pin, where Rory is 130 yards from the pin.
Yep.
All right. So we don't actually have to do any. We don't have to go anywhere. We can hit Control X, and if we did, it would just stay right where we are.
Okay.
All right. Now we have something that comes into play on this second shot, don't we? From the hole notes. So second shot, carry -5 yards.
Yep.
All right.
So you programmed that key in to the Game Caddy. So does the Game Caddy automatically know this, or do we?
It does not. Okay. So these notes are informational only. They do not do anything internally within the Game Caddy. These are there for you as the human player to be reminded of what's going on. But the Game Caddy can accept information based on the course notes, and the easiest way to do this is to use the course adjustments tool right over here. Okay, and the second shot for both of these players is going to be affected. So there's actually something cool we can do in this situation. So in this box, the carry box, what we're going to do for Colin is put in a -5, and that -5 only applies to this shot. And so instead of him having, well, let me take this out of here so you can see one other thing. All right. So you'll notice up here on the WI shot planner that we talked about last time, this carry objective is 140, and it happens to match what's over here in the Who's Away tool. These won't always match because this is measuring to the pin center line, and this is measuring to the pin. In this case, it does happen to match. But when we put the -5 carry in here, you'll notice that the carry objective becomes 5 yards longer. So it's 145 yards.
Right.
Because Rory is also going to be affected by this, because it affects all players on their second shot. We could go over to Rory's caddy tab when the time comes and remember to enter it, but there's a shortcut here. If you just click on this little Easter egg, if you click on course adjustments, it's going to say select yes to copy course adjustments to all the other caddies or no to cancel. So if you just click yes, it's now going to show up on Rory's caddy tab when it comes time for him to take his shot, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to remember it.
Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, so now something we didn't talk about. Well, we kind of glossed over it a little bit, but we are in the rough. So now we got to talk about rough.
Yep, you got to talk about lies. So we didn't do this last time. We had a shot in the sand last time, but we didn't have one in the rough. So I'm going to click on the lies tab here.
Actually, now that I look at it, and I might have messed this up already because I'm bad at this.
No worries.
You can clearly see that this X is where we're at. Can you see that? Let me make me. Can you see? Let me make me big. Let me make me big. Hang on. There. So you should be able to see it once it switches over here in a second. This is the first X off the fairway, so I believe we are actually in the IR for the intermediate rough.
All right. So again, this is one of these things where people debate, how do you go about measuring all that? The game caddy doesn't care. Whatever you decide that is, and let's say you've got it in the rough, but you decide, no, that really needs to be intermediate rough. All you need to do, we're back on Collins. Caddy.
Okay, here, let me switch back to your big now.
Okay.
That's not what I wanted. Hang on. There, now you're big again. Okay.
So we're back on Collins tab here, Caddy 2. I'm just going to come over here to the notes here, click on the box that's under lie, and I'm just going to type over that and put in IR. Okay. So now it thinks the game caddy thinks we're in the intermediate rough.
Okay. Okay.
Simple as that. We're still going to go over to the lies tab. Do you remember if we talked about this board last time or this information? I don't think we did we?
We did not. No, we did not.
This is, I'm going to just interject this, even though we don't need to do it at this point, but since it's on the screen, I want to talk about this. For me, this is one of the handiest tools, and even though I created it, I use it all the time because I can't remember all these, bizarre circumstances and, what clubs I can use and what clubs I can't use. So this has all the lies and what restrictions go along with that. Okay. And, so, you might have a shot that's in the deep rough, or you might have a buried lie, and you're thinking, well, what club can I use? What can't I use? How much can I work the ball? Can I aim? You can't remember all of that stuff. And all of this comes from the APA rules. None of this is made up by me, but it's all consolidated in one place. And, let's say you're somewhere down here on the rough board, right? And you've got a questionable lie and you're not sure, okay, so what does that mean in terms of clubs that I can use? Well, I try to help you a little bit by putting in here, a maximum work the ball of minus, 10 here. But if you can't remember all that, just come up here, click on the lie adjustments and restrictions. It'll take you right there and it'll tell you questionable lie minus 10 max, right? For work the ball, meaning whatever the maximum is in that column, subtract 10 from that.
Right. I got you.
Now cool. we're gonna go back to the intermediate rough board. All right. You want me to roll?
Yep.
All right. So now we've got two numbers. We've got a first number and a second number. Again, people do this differently. You do it whatever way you want to do it. Sometimes people, when they're in the intermediate rough, they apply the scramble number. Sometimes they don't. The game caddy doesn't care. You just, obviously, if you're going to play, just be consistent about whatever it is that you do. When I'm in the intermediate rough, I don't count it, but obviously I count it when I'm in the regular rough. In this case, it's really not going to matter because the scramble number is not going to be big enough to overturn either of these values. A 23 for a first roll is going to mean it has no effect, and a 24 for the second roll means it's going to have no effect. So there's nothing for us to click on. If it had been a larger number, we'd have clicked on one of these blue boxes, and it would have then transferred that information into Collins' lie effects table up here, and the game caddy would then use that to compute whatever the wherever the shot went.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, so he's got a good lie there in the intermediate rough because of the roll. And the game caddy is telling me that we are 145 yards. 5 of those are deducted from the flight, which we talked about.
Yeah.
And so some of you people out there, if you're watching my little screen, I just kind of want to show this real quick because I think this is kind of cool. One of the cool things about the golf caddies. So you can clearly see let me get my little pencil out here. All right, so I need to maybe bring it over here so you can clearly see that this is 130. Oh, that's 130 there, and then we would count 135, 140, and you can see we are over there is where we're at. So we're actually 20 yards off to the left, and because we have to bring it 5 yards back over, we're going to lose 5 yards there. And so that would be 130, 135, 140, 145. And you would think, oh, that can't be right because the game caddy is showing us 145. Well, we're shooting at pin 2. Oops, that's down here, which is actually at 100. 145 goes to the center. We're actually shooting here at 145, which is the pin location there. So that is why it looks wrong, but the game caddy's already calculated the distance needed to actually make it to here beautifully. Does that make sense? Did I say that right?
Yep.
All right. So we're looking at, let's bring your screen back up now. All right, so we're looking at iron of 5, and we need to go 145 yards. What does that 8 iron knockdown look like?
All right, so come over to the 8 iron, click on it, and if you look in the, you're in the intermediate rough, so you'd be hitting from the fairway. So here's your numbers right here.
And he is a 5. So that would give us 145 if we hit a knockdown. And possibly 5 left.
And you have a good angle. So you can aim because you have a good angle.
Right.
Yeah.
We are going to aim. We're going to aim 5 right.
Right. All I've done is on the aim tool there, I've just put in a 5.
All righty.
And keep in mind, again, that we talked about this last time in the first live stream video. The game caddy adjusts every shot, WI shot, back to the center line, right? So, you know, when you're talking about aiming 5 right, you're actually talking about aiming 5 right of the center line, not 5 right from your ball location.
Right, right. All right. Why don't you roll a good one for us there, buddy?
All right. So we're doing an 8 iron knockdown.
Yep.
All right. So this is the first time we've done a knockdown shot. So up here on the dashboard, we have the option of clicking this toggle button to change this N for no to a Y for yes. So we'll do that. And so now what's going to happen is that it would reduce any wind effects if there were by half. But we don't have any wind on this hole. So in some ways, it's kind of a moot point. All right.
See, I purposely do these shots that we haven't done so we can cover some of these things.
Yeah, well, sometimes you want to hit a knockdown just because you want to take advantage of whatever the distance is over here,
right.
whether the wind's a factor or not.
Right.
All right, so I'll take the shot, and you got a 46.
Oh, 40. Oh, my gosh, you're killing me. This is an iron. He rolled a 36.
So a 46 is a 36 on this card?
Yeah. 46 is a 36, right?
Yeah, so we got an absolute outcome here. So a 36 down here, there's nothing to click. There's no blue box here. We've got a hole plus dice roll. So basically that means that you've hit the ball darn near close to the pin, perhaps actually in the hole if you end up rolling what amounts to a 12, okay? I'm sorry, I forget what I just said. That's totally wrong. This is hole plus dice roll. I was thinking, a subtraction situation. So you're going to end up whatever the number of feet is. So we're going to roll again, and we're going to add the 2 dice. So you've ended up putting that ball 7 feet from the pin.
Wow.
adding the 2 dice. So essentially, that roll was a 3 and a 4, which becomes a 7.
Right.
All right. Now, how do you enter that? There's nothing to click on. What do I do? Like, I'm stuck here, right? Well, no, you're not. This is really easy. You're making it easy on me. I appreciate that. Okay. So we're going to go back to Colin's Caddie tab, right? Because he has put the ball on the green, and we know that the distance is 7 feet, all we got to do is click on this ball on green tool, and it will establish that the ball is on the green. It's actually going to put the pin location. It's going to put the ball at the pin location. It's going to automatically enter the live forces on the green, and all we got to do is come up here to the putt distance and type a 7 in. He's done. He's got 2 strokes.
Wow.
Simple as pie.
And I noticed our who's away is automatically switched.
That's right. And because he's on the green now, it's gone away. So this who's away only works for balls that are not on the green. So once a player is on the green or in the hole, the Game Caddie stops tracking that player.
Awesome. Awesome.
Right.
So we would hit Control X.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to ask you the question and you answered it. So I just hit Control X.
Yeah,
so we're back.
I'm learning. See, I'm learning. Yeah, Control X will switch it to whoever's away, and right now it's going to be Rory McIlroy.
And you'll notice that the -5 carry is already entered because we did this course adjustment before.
Yep. And some of the things we talked about last week was the fact that the Game Caddie will show you whether you're short-sighted or
have a good angle.
Or have a good angle. Thank you. Up there in the top, and so we can see we are short-sighted.
Yeah, which means you can't aim, but you can work the ball.
Right.
And,
so
you might want to do that just so we can show them how to do it. This is your golfer, your score.
Yep, we are absolutely going to, because I'm going to try and push it in that bunker there by the hole so we can really get into some mess here. So we are just 5 yards from the center line, so obviously no adjustment there, which means we are at the, as you can see, 130, 135. But again, that 135 is to the center. We're not aiming at the center here. We're aiming just short of the center. So we're looking at 130. But then we have a -5 to our carry distance because of the special rule.
Which means you've got to hit 5 yards farther.
Right. So we got to hit it, and it should calculate it up to 135 if I calculated everything correctly.
That's right. And again, for new players, I would encourage you to not get too hung up on the math and whether it's right or not, because it will really slow you down in your learning process. As I said last time, trust the Game Caddie. Okay.
Yeah,
it has been tested and tested and tested and tested. And it's going to be right more often than you are. And when you think you've tripped it up, you'll come back later and say, no, this is where I made the mistake. And I know that sounds arrogant, but it's not me. It's the Game Caddie that's doing it. I make mistakes all the time.
Right. Well, I will tell you, and I can attest to the fact that I have tried to calculate things myself, and I go, oh, the Game Caddie's wrong. And then I have to think about, oh, wait a minute, I forgot to do this or I forgot to do that. And every time the Game Caddie's been right and I've been wrong. So I have learning to trust it. It's hard for us to trust the AI, but you're right. It's one of those things that once you get comfortable enough that you believe in it, you can just listen to what it has to say, because it's probably 99.9999999% right.
Well, and that's the reason why the Game Caddie was invented in the first place, right? Is because, playing the master game without a tool like this just becomes mentally exhausting. It's not difficult to do arithmetic, but it's difficult, to have the energy to do all the arithmetic you got to do for 18 holes of golf, particularly if you're playing with more than one player. So, this is what the Game Caddie was built for. Use it for that.
All right, let's click on that pitching wedge. I just want to see he hits a 2, which is going to go right 5. and -5, and that's gonna if he hits the perfect shot, it's gonna end up right at the hole. So unfortunately, I would love to aim the ball, but in this situation, I think aiming the ball would be the wrong thing to do. You see what I'm saying?
Well, and you can't aim because you're short-sighted. But you
you're right. I meant to say work the ball. Right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't work the ball because if he hits a perfect shot, it's going to end up right where the flag is.
you have a lot of confidence in Rory or my dice rolling, one of the two.
So far, your dice rolling has been 12 times better than mine. So let's see what he can do. Rory, knock it in there, baby.
All right. So I just am going to point out quickly, if you were going to work the ball, all you would do is you put the values in here, right, into this tool right here, and it will make those adjustments for you. So it's essentially doing the same thing that the aiming tool is doing. It's just doing it, on a different part of the screen. Okay.
I'm sure we'll get yes, a pitching wedge, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah, click it again.
Yep.
So he's gonna if he hits a 2, that's 140 right 5.
Well, that's if you knock it down.
Correct. 145 if we don't, but then we get -5 on the
Green roll.
on the roll. Yeah. So that would be perfect. Yep. Let's do it.
So I'm sorry, is it a knockdown or not?
No knockdown. Just
okay.
no.
All right. So I'll roll 51. That's probably a pretty decent number.
51 it's spot on. It's a 2.
All right. So we click on 2 and transfer the shot. And the ball carried to 385, right 5, which is 10 past the hole. So the pin location from the tee, you can always look over here. Some of these courses, it's not too bad on Pebble Beach because the greens are so small. Some of these courses have enormously large greens, and the yardage markers stop with their numbers pretty far back. And so you got to count like 50 yards to figure out where the ball landed. Well, a shortcut way of doing it, and this isn't really a game caddy thing, although you use the game caddy for it, is, look where the pin location is, look where the distance is, and you can, most people can do the math in their head on this. So this went 10 yards farther than the pin location. So I can quickly then look at the course board and figure out which grid line that ball landed on. And so your 2 squares past number 2, 5 yards to the right, and you got a green roll of -5, which we'll enter here. That changes this to 380, right 5. So your ball is now, 1 square away from the pin?
Yep.
All right. So what we'll do is come over here to the putting caddy. 1 straight. There's no diagonals. We'll hit the calc button. It's determined that you are 6 feet from the pin. In order to register that shot in the notes here and to count the stroke, we just hit the green on a ball on green tool, and it enters that information for us, and we're good to go. We're ready to go to the putting boards. So you are quite the APA golfer, I must say. As a newbie to the game, you'd be dangerous.
I think the game caddy is cheating because it has been so easy. I never hit him this well. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
All right, so we'll go over and putt out. You'll notice that the Who's Away tool is blank now because both players are on the green. Click on the players to putting boards. Takes us over to this screen, which again, if you were with us last time, this is familiar to you. If not, these are the go boards up at the top. These are the safe boards or safe board down here at the bottom. Now there is no Who's Away tool for the putting boards. You can putt whatever order you prefer to putt in. Most people will putt with whoever happens to be the farthest out. So if we did that, Colin would be up first, and you decide whether you're going to go for it or play it safe. At 7 feet, we actually could.
We're going for it. 7 feet away, we're going for it.
All right. So we'll click on this. The roll is a 23. So what does Colin have in the P column for a 23?
He has a 21.
So we come over here to 7 to 9 feet, come down to 21. He makes it for a par, but he misses it because this was for a birdie. Right?
Wow.
So this is a par 4. This is showing he has 2 strokes. If you forget how many strokes he's got, right? This is his 3rd putt, so he does not make it. What he ends up with is a tap in. And here's another little cool tool I'm going to show you. So we come up here and we type TI. And this is really kind of an advanced thing. It's not complicated, but a lot of people don't know about it. We're going to type TI, and it's going to register that 3rd stroke. And it's actually going to register in the game caddy as a putt of half a foot, meaning 6 inches. Okay. And you say, well, where did that come from? All right. Well, this is a game caddy. Let's call it an innovation or feature. You can determine how far you want your tap ins to be. You get to decide. The default is half a foot. So if you follow me down here, there's a little box here that says this is what the tap in is in feet, and it's set at 0.5. That's the default. But if you wanted it to be, 0.25, you could do that if you wanted. Now it's kind of jumped us around a little bit here. So let me kind of get back where we were. I'm going to come down over here to the putting board, and we're going to put it back at 0.5. All right. Okay. Yeah. So it's just a little thing. I don't know why that's jumping around. I'll need to fix that. But and then we got to put the ball in the hole. So we need to type in.
Yeah.
And now we got our 4th stroke, and Rory's up. I'm going to putt for him. Now you can only go for it when you're 6 feet or closer. So we'll click on him. You got a 64. What's he have in the P column for?
64, P column 23.
All right. So a 23. Oh my goodness, exact same situation. So he gets a tap in.
Oh, you did so well, and then they screwed up on the hole. Oh,
couldn't putt. All right. Wow. Now we're gonna do the last step, which is to transfer all this over to the scorecard. We got Rory up here, and here's his notes for hole number 1. You got a 4. You got a fairway. You got a green, and he had a 2-putt. And for Colin, he also had a 4. His information is over here. He did not get a fairway, but he did get a green, and he had a 2-putt. Both of them are at par, so we don't have any extra information down here. Come over here, and you'll notice that the game caddy is tracking fairway percentage, greens, and regulations. Talked about this last time, but total length putts, it's retained it as a half a foot. For longest putt made, it rounds up, so that's why it says 1 foot for that.
Wow, awesome! That is great.
So we actually covered a lot of different things on that.
We did.
Even though you didn't get into any trouble.
That's funny. I didn't get into any trouble, and we still covered a couple good things for you guys out there. So, again, if anybody has any questions, be sure to type them in the chat. We'll get to your question here. We're going to run through one more hole rather quickly this time.
Okay.
Because we're kind of running down on the time. Unless you think, I think we can squeeze another one in. Don't you think, Scott?
Yeah, this is a short par 5. We can do that.
Oh, it's a par 5 too. Oh my gosh! Now I got to get the other board out.
And we could skip to a par 3 if you'd rather do that. It's up to you.
We're going to go to hole number 5 there, so you can show us how to, if you wanted to skip around a little bit on your courses, and you wanted to play the holes your own way, not the way the course laid them out.
Okay, so I'm going to talk through this pretty quickly, and we'll just go ahead and play it. We're going to reset the hole, clear out the old hole information. We're going to transfer the hole number. You said hole number 5. We'll put that in there. It's pulled those course notes over. We'll see that in a bit. We're going to roll for the wind on this hole. And we got a 34 this time. So this time we do have a little bit of a wind. We have a headwind. So we're going to click on this box here, and it's going to take this -5 and put it up here in the first roll column. So every shot that is affected by wind is going to be affected by a 5-yard headwind. All right. Hopefully that's clear enough. Now we're gonna click on Control X to see who's up. Now we know Rory's going to be up because they tied that hole, and Rory was up last time. But if Colin had won the hole and I clicked on Control X, that's the who's away shortcut key, it would pull Colin up as the next golfer. But it's going to do Rory. So there's Rory. We got our hole notes up here. Let's see. So what's it saying here? It said tee shot A is a tailwind of +5 yards right. B is a headwind. So +5 yards left. So we need to actually go back. So the headwind is going to be 5 yards left.
We are tailwind A.
We're headwind. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. You're correct.
Yeah, it should add 5 to the right, and any win results. Type A.
If it's a tailwind, you add 5 yards to the right, but we didn't have that. We had a headwind. So
okay, I see. Okay, so only if it's a tailwind. Okay, I got you.
So we don't do anything. The only other whole note here is when it comes to putting, and that any putt that crosses the center line, we're going to have to make an adjustment by 1 column longer.
Yeah, and there's also the cliff is a lateral and the beach and all that crazy nonsense.
Yeah, which applies to any of the holes on Pebble Beach that have.
Right, exactly. All right, so we'll get the viewers a nice view of this green here that the golfers are trying to come in at. We're going for hole number 2. So this is actually going to be pretty darn tough because this is 195 yards to the center. We're 10 yards past that, so that's 205 yards. I believe, if I added my math correctly there.
Well, so what the game caddy is telling us up here in the WI shot planner is that if you hit a shot that carries 210 yards, you will be on the center line across from pin number 2.
Yep. 195, 200, 205. So why is there? Oh, because of the wind, right?
Trust the game caddy.
Yep. You're right. So I'm looking for 210. Rory's up first. 210. Rory has a 3-iron. He does not have a 4-iron. Or does he have a 4-iron? I can't tell. He does have a 4-iron, yes?
He has a 2-iron and a 4-iron. You always have a 4-iron.
Right. He doesn't have that 3-iron, which would be 210. Well, click on the 4-iron. Let's see if we can get a little bit of roll on it.
Well, you normally will get 10 yards of roll if you get a decent number with a 4-iron on the green.
All right, Rory's he's an even number on the irons, which means he's going to go right. So we're going to have to work the ball this time.
Yeah, if you want to. Yep. Yeah, I think you want to stay away from that cliff. So I don't know how much risk you want to assume, but that's up to you.
Yeah, let's he is going to go right. So if we aim 10 left,
we can do that if you want. Probably, since your mortgage isn't riding on this, it's probably okay for us just to put anything in here and see what happens.
Right, exactly. All right. So yeah, let's click that 4-iron and see.
All right. So I put 10 left in the work the ball tool. Can't aim on 3-iron shots for the folks that might not be all that familiar with the master game, but you can work the ball on a par 3. I meant to say. So 4-iron, ready to shoot?
No. I'm looking.
Oh,
I'm analyzing, and so he would hit it 210 right 5. 210 right 5. Well, that would be perfect. 210 right 5. But we, you know what? Let's only aim 5 left. I decided to change my mind.
All right. So you're going to work the ball 5 left.
Yeah. Just to be safe, just to be on the safe side.
Well, or you might not be playing it safe because you know could end up closer to the cliff or over the cliff. But that's up to you.
That's right. That's a
Right,
risk. Yeah, 4-iron. Our roll is a good one there. Come on, buddy.
Oh, 22. Well, he hit it solidly.
That's a 1. He clobbered it.
Yeah, so he may be back there in the trees, but we'll see. All right. Oh, now, all right. So we're working the ball. So we've got a second column up here, which is the work the ball column. So we have to look up on Rory's card, what is a 14 in the W column for him?
21 on the W column.
And for working the ball left, he has a B rating. So we need to look in the B column for, you said 21?
What did you roll? 14. Yes, it's a 21.
Okay. So that means it's going to be a minus 15. So he's going to end up going pretty far right here because a minus left is a positive right. All right. So what I've done is I've clicked on the box for 1 because that was what the 22 gave us, right? I'm going to hit the transfer shot button. The game caddy knows we're working the ball, so it's going to prompt us. So I get the if working the ball, enter the adjustment value, and we said that was a minus 15. Click on OK, and you'll notice that it took a shot that would have gone 10 yards to the left, and it brought it 5 yards to the right. So 215 right 5. Where does that put you? That puts you
to
10 yards past the 2.
200.
So it puts you kind of in the rough here. Past the
215. That's
right
195, 200, 25, 210, 215. Right 5 is going to put us in that right in that little spot right there. Is that where you're at between the bunker and the trees there?
Yeah, and then you've got some roll, and you're gonna end up rolling into deep rough.
Yep.
Because you've got a 10 roll here, but you're only going to get 5 yards of that because that deep rough's going to stop you immediately.
Yeah.
All right. So you're at 220 right 5. Click on update, and I'm going to put deep rough in here because that's one of the abbreviations down here. But when you're within approach range, deep rough is the same as regular rough, so it doesn't really matter. You're just going to have a shot from the regular rough. Okay.
Yeah. That was good. We get to see all kinds of bad things.
Yeah, and you can see now that Rory is 15 yards away, and we've got Colin who's up next. So we'll hit Control X.
All right, and he is a wood of 6. He's going to have to he's going to use his hybrid, so we can see how the hybrid works.
That's going to double the wind effect. So that's going to take that minus 5 and essentially make it a minus 10. Which again, it's not necessarily a problem. I'm just letting you know that.
Yep. All right. Nope. I want to see how this works.
All right. And oh, by the way, this will be totally transparent to the user. You will not see the minus 10 anywhere, but the game caddy will perform that calculation behind the scenes.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to do the hybrid?
Yep.
Are you working the ball at all?
He is even, so he goes right again. Good Lord, these guys, and they're hitting it right. Yeah, we're going to go 5 left.
All right. Hybrid, roll. 54.
You're killing me. You're killing me, man.
And a hybrid in the W column. What is that?
That's a 13.
All right. And we're working the ball. That's a 26. What's his W number there?
26. W number?
Yes.
32.
32. Again, his shot making is a B to the left. So we'll come down here to 32. And so that's only actually a minus 5 in the B column. So we'll hit we've got the 13 box clicked. Click on transfer shot, enter -5. It'll perform all those calculations. And so you went 205, right 20, and you may be on the cliff here.
205, right 20, 75, 85, 95, 200, right 20, 5, 10, 15. Yeah, he has hit the dark brown cliff. He hit the cliff.
Yeah, and so all shots rolling onto or landing on the cliffs kick 15 yards towards the water. Okay.
And that is
I'm glad you did this because I want to. Now I can show another feature here. So how do you get that 15 yards right into the game caddy? Okay, it didn't show up in the actual shot result. It's an adjustment that you got to make. It's easy. Remember the course adjustments tool. So we'll just come over here in the column that says right. I'll just type in 15. And what it's going to do is it's going to move the ball location now to 205, right 35. Does that put you on the sand or in the water?
That puts us in the sand.
All right.
195, 200, should be there actually. I am way out there in the sand though.
All right. So we'll click update. And we're going to enter sand trap as your new line.
Oh my God.
It's actually the Pacific Ocean Beach, but
right.
I don't have a code for that, so we'll call it sand trap. And some people might play this as if it's out of bounds or whatever. You know, people have different rules for all of this stuff. It's not technically marked out of bounds, and I have seen real golfers play from the beach, not necessarily always play well. It probably should be considered a deep bunker, but that's not what the course board says. So we'll just call it a sand trap. We'll enter it in, and Colin is still going to be far. We're going to be using the approach caddy now from the sand trap. We have to determine whether he has a good lie or not. So we'll come down to the lies tab, click on that. We're going to call this a greenside bunker, and we got to roll to see what kind of lie he gets. And so this is actually one that works in his favor. We reduce whatever the final result is by 10%. Okay, so that's actually a good lie from the beach, is if you can consider being on the beach a good lie. Okay, all right. So you're going to be short-sighted here. So you're going to have to aim for the center line. You can't aim for the pin, but you can aim for any point along the center line. So tell me what point along the center line you want to aim for, or shoot for, or target. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Currently, you're set up to target 205 along the center line. You can leave it there, or you can move it, closer to the center of the green, or you can move it off the green if you wanted to.
We're going to target 200.
200. Okay. Now you have another decision to make. You can use your sand point if you want, so that essentially it's a shot from the fairway.
Normally I would, but let's not, because I want to show people how this shot works.
Sand trap works. Okay. All right. So your call distance is figured out for you by the approach caddy. You're 35 yards out. There's not going to be any wind that will affect that, because you have to be 50 yards or farther away for the wind to come into play at all.
Right.
So we'll come down here to the approach board that's for 35 yards. That's the one that says 25 to 45 yards. We'll click on that, and we'll go ahead and take the shot from the sand. So it's a 34. I'm not doing you any favors here. So what's a 34 in the A column for the approach?
Well, you're killing me. 16.
All right. So in the sand column, we'll click on 16. That's going to be a result of -5 and 5 left. Keeping in mind that the game caddy defaults to the golfer's perspective. So we'll enter that in, and it is hitting from the east to the center line. So it's coming at it, if you will, from the bottom of the board to the top of the board, right, and applying the results accordingly. And so
you can either come in, let me just show people what you're talking about.
Yeah.
if I, nope, click on this button. There we go. So you can either come in east and west, or you can come in north and south like that.
In this particular instance, you could have approached from the south. The default was to the east because you were farther away from the center line relative to the hole.
So it's using this line as our base. We were aiming for the 4.
Yes.
So because we ended up 5 short and 5 left, we should end up where the number 1 is.
Yeah, and the Game Caddy is going to make adjustments for you. So what it ends up putting you at is at 195 right 5.
Yep, that's right where it's at. Right there. Boom. 195 right 5 is right there.
Yeah. I know we're running short on time. If you had wanted to approach from a different angle, the other vector that you've got shown there, what you would have done is clicked on the path tool here. Oh, it won't let me do it now. I forgot because we've already taken the shot. But before you take the shot, if you want to change the approach perspective, you can do that by clicking the path button.
Right.
All right. So we're at 195 right 5. Now, because I clicked on something, I messed this up here, and I'm going to show you. We could place the ball by just going 195 right 5 and clicking place ball tool, and it's going to ask us where we are. We're on the green, and it's entered it for us, and it's counted that stroke for us. And so Colin's ready to putt, but we still got to get Rory on the green.
Do we want to let you know it's 2 straights away?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for reminding me.
That's okay.
2 straights. So we'll calculate what the putting distance is. So it's 27 feet.
All right.
And we don't need to click this tool now because we entered the lie manually. That's the word green is in there.
All right, let's look at Rory real quick. How messed up is he?
So all right, so this is nice. So even though Rory is in the rough, he's actually a deep rough. He'll shoot from the rough. He's within 20 yards. So he's got a call distance of 15 yards. So this is simple. We just come down. We don't have to target anything because he's 20 yards or less in terms of the call distance. Just come down here, click this. We'll roll. We got a 41. And what's that in the A column for Rory?
Would you roll 41?
Yes.
A is going to be a 3.
41's a 3. Wow, that's terrific. That's a great number on that. So I'm clicking on 3 from 15 to 20 yards out in the rough column. These are rough column numbers here. Over here is fairway, over here is sand. Click on that and transfer the shot. And then the Game Caddy does all the other stuff for you. It takes care of the housekeeping. So it's already put you on the green, and it's figured out that you're 5 feet away based on that last shot result. So we'll go to the putting boards.
Hang on a second.
Sure.
Didn't we need to roll to see what kind of lie he had in the rough?
No, because you're using the approach caddy. It doesn't matter when you're within 100 yards.
Okay.
Lies don't, that's an APA master game rule. Lies don't come into effect for shots that are in the rough within 100 yards.
Okay. I didn't know that. So
yeah.
Good to know.
You would do it for sand and you would do it for trees, but not for rough.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So he's he's on the green as well.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Colin's 27 feet out. Rory's 5 feet out. Colin probably goes first here. Do you want to play it safe or you want to putt?
We're going to better go safe. We better go safe there.
All right. So I'll roll again. You got a 62. What's he got in the P column?
P column 17.
So 27 feet falls in here. 17 falls here. So he's 1 foot out. So manually, I'm clicking on the P1 box, putting a 1 in. Rory's up. He's going to go for it because you got to.
Yep.
From that distance. Yep. You got a 36. What's he have in the P column?
36, P24. Oh, you can't make a putt.
Well, he did make that, though.
Oh, he did. Yep.
5 feet, 24 wow. Goes in.
Wow, just barely.
All right, and then Colin will putt out. 22, I'm sure he made it with that.
Yep. It's
And so Rory ended up. Did he birdie that? No, he couldn't have birdied.
No,
It's a par
three.
It's a par three. Yeah, so he parred it, and Colin bogeyed it. Okay, so we'll transfer putts to the scorecard, and we can pick up this information down here, and we'll be done. So he got a 3. This is good because it'll show you one other thing we haven't seen so far. And he had a 1 putt. I put 3 in there. Okay. Oh, I'm putting it in hole 2 because that's what was up next, but we're not actually on hole 2.
Right, we're on number 5. Yeah.
Sorry. And Colin had a 4. That's what I wanted to show you. He had a sand trap. Doesn't get the sand save. He has 2 putts. And you'll notice that this shows that he's 1 over. And we've got our calculations here. So Rory's still at par. Colin's 1 over, and some additional statistical information. So I know we kind of rushed through that last hole. Hopefully we didn't lose folks with that, and they were able to learn some new things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I learned a lot of good things, and the more you mess up, the more you learn. So that's good. Let's go ahead and bring this back up here for a second. And well, what do you think? Whew. We actually covered a lot of important stuff again tonight. We only scratched the surface on where and what we can actually talk about.
And it seems like, well, geez, it took them an hour and a half to play 2 holes. Keep in mind, when you're talking through this stuff with people, it really, is a much slower process than the way that it works in reality. I can, play with 4 golfers. Maybe not Seaside because it's one of the more complex courses, but I could play a course like Magnolia with 4 golfers and finish playing by myself in under 2 hours.
Right.
With the game caddy.
Yeah.
I without the game caddy, no way. But with the game caddy, I can do that.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think we're trying to go slow to show people. We're trying to talk about what's going on and explain things that's going to slow us way down. So I think just understanding the complexity and understanding the flow of the game and what you need to input and trusting in the game caddy will then make you realize that, hey, this is all right. I should listen to what it has to say and follow along with it. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm having a great time with it. So, but we covered really important things, multiple golfers. So if you want to play with multiple golfers, we talked about dog legs and how Game Caddy handles the dog legs. Very simple, actually. It's going to be the yes or no, right? On whether it comes into play off the tee.
And it will turn itself off after the tee shot. And you can turn it back on if you want to. Let's say you hit the first shot out of bounds and you're still back on the tee again. You can toggle that by changing the N to a Y. Right.
There's still a lot more that we want to talk about. We want to talk about trees, being behind trees and all that, but we're not going to do that tonight. So we'll get together again. We'll talk about that, maybe stymied rule, chipping the ball back in when you have to play safe. We're actually going to look at what you do for the bunkers. What other things did we want to cover? Do you have your list handy?
Yeah, let me quick pull it out. You've actually covered quite a few of the ones that I had. We need to do the play safe tool, right. how that works. We still haven't had second roll wind. So we
We need to purposely do that, right?
Yeah, and it's for people that hang in there for 3 or 4 of these. They ought to understand how the lie effects tables work, right? So I was just kind of clicking on boxes, and the game caddy was doing all that for you. But sometimes there'll be situations where you need to manually override what's in there, maybe because you clicked on the wrong box, you want to change something. So that's something else that we could cover in a future video. But man, we actually have covered quite a lot. How to use the distance calculator for determining whether or not you're blocked by trees, how to hit around trees. Yeah, so lots of good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you give me that email one more time. SMOHLER. Oops, I'm not even typing. Hang on a minute. SMOHLER9@gmail.com.
You got it.
And yeah, I'm just going to post it up there for you guys. So that is how you get a hold of Scott. He will send you your very own free copy of Game Caddie to try out for yourself. No strings attached.
No strings. and not 24/7 support, but you get support every day, 7 days a week, because I love this. And if you got questions, email me and we'll figure it out.
And I can attest, I've emailed you probably 200 times, and within an hour, for sure, I get an email back. It's great. You do great customer support. So good for you, buddy. Well, we do appreciate everyone coming out tonight, and those of you that are watching later on YouTube, we plan on having another episode. We're going to talk about some trees and probably some other things, some more advanced features. Hopefully you guys catching along on how to do this. And again, if you guys have any questions, there's the email address. If you want to get yourself a free copy of the Game Caddie and get yourself some courses inputted into the Game Caddie and try it out for yourself. It's free. You got nothing to lose. So we want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. And I want to thank Scott for a great program. And thanks for doing these videos, because I think it's helping myself and hopefully a bunch of other people learn the basics and some of the features that are in it.
My pleasure. And I really want to thank you, IT Jester, for giving me the opportunity to show off this tool. And I hope other people get as much enjoyment out of it as I do, and as the fun that I've had making it.
Yeah, I can't wait until I can actually get it out and roll some things for myself. So hopefully we can get a couple more episodes in, and then hopefully we can get some more videos out there to show you guys some action going on. And we apologize it goes slow, but we're trying to go through this step by step, leading people kind of to the water. And then once you're there, then it's yours to drink, right? All right. And we'll see everyone hopefully in the next week or so. We'll have another episode for you guys. Until then, everyone have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.